right. Welcome to the Mega Man 5 tournament. Today we have a best of 3 matchup with Scarfwynaut against greatjhon. And should be a lot of fun. This is one of the more fun Mega Man speedruns, I'd say, especially to watch. You'll see some really cool arrow strats. The arrow is going to be crucial in going fast and will allow us to do a lot of the tricks to skip a big section of the Wave Man stage, as well as some of the refights as well. So I'm looking forward to a lot of action. I have Brett Suzo here with me on commentary.
Hello. Thank you. Yes, I'm very much looking forward to this race. These two runners are pretty evenly matched. I think Scarfwynaut just PB'd like an hour ago with the 41. And I think greatjhon is sitting at a 43 right now, but has a lot of time to save. So should be some pretty close races here. And some interesting back and forth, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we get a game 3, and that's awesome to get the PB an hour before the race. You got to feel confident when that happens.
Oh yeah. Looks like runners are readying up and got about 15 seconds, and we will begin.
Both runners are running the Japanese version of Mega Man 5, Rockman 5. This is going to be ideal for the race, a race setting. If you're speedrunning the game, the leaderboards will automatically adjust the text speed and will adjust your time, so it doesn't matter what version you run on. However, of course, in a race, the text scroll is going to matter, and you're going to want to play on Rockman.
All right, there they go. Scarf almost selected Gyro Man first, which is a common mistake to make when you're nervous and pretty costly. So the robot master order, the route for the speedrun is very set in stone for this game. You want to go to Starman first. That's where you get the super arrow. And then from there, you just go in weakness order for the robot masters. So super arrow being the utility item that saves the most time in this run.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to going star first. It's sort of just the natural speedrun course. There's no alternate routes like you'll see in Mega Man 3 or Mega Man 9 where people can kind of pick and choose. As you mentioned, you get the super arrow here. Also, Starman's weakness is Wave Man's weapon, which has to be used on the ground, and Starman's known to jump around quite a bit, so it's not the quickest kill, even if you have his weakness. So you're not losing much, if any, time at all, just by bustering him down.
Yeah, Wave is one of many weapons here that don't see a lot of use because it's so awkward. It's kind of a theme with the weapons in this game. You're only going to see it once in the run here unless they have some special strats in store. All right, so they're both safely through. Starman, that's an achievement in and of itself. It's a pretty hard opening stage.
Known as Star TA.
Yes, Star TA is the commonly referred to loop that you can get into resetting in Starman stage. So you'll see in this fight here that they're shooting shots through Starman's shield. If you stand about a tile and a half away or so and you shoot a charge buster shot, it'll go right through the shield and hit Starman. So that's part of the reason why this route is viable, because you don't have to wait for Starman to fire his shield to be vulnerable.
Both runners now have acquired the super arrow and are going to be heading off, hopefully, to Gravity Man stage, barring any miss stage selects. And this stage is kind of neat. It has a little gimmick where it will flip you upside down in anti-gravity whenever you see those arrows pointing in the opposite direction. It's kind of an interesting thing. You actually have to hold up an A instead of down an A to slide. So it's for a casual player, it could throw you off a little bit, but it's not too bad in the speedrun. Not bad at all, really.
Yeah, the only caveat there is that if you, even while you're holding up, you can jump out of your slide when you're upside down. So it doesn't behave like the rest of the game where you have to sort of hold up to jump out of your slide if you're sliding on the ground. So slide chaining becomes a little bit more difficult. If you hit A too early, you'll end up jumping when you wanted to slide. And that can kind of mess up your movement in some of the rooms here. But they're working around it just fine here. You're seeing the super arrow employed all over the sort of middle section of the stage here to save some time and make the rooms quite a bit easier to navigate.
Now this
and that's sort of a
go ahead.
That's sort of a common theme with how the super arrow works in the stages in this game. It's used usually on long screens where there's a lot of enemies. That would take a lot of platforming and jumping. You wouldn't be able to slide much on those screens if you had to navigate it Buster only, for example. So usually skipping some of the hardest content in the stages with some well-placed arrows.
So I'm not sure if this is the case or not, but this shares the same or similar slide mechanics as Mega Man 4 before it switches in Mega Man 6 to only being able to A cancel or
that is correct. You don't have to cancel your slide to jump. You can jump directly out of a slide animation in this game, like you can in Mega Man 3 and 4. Mega Man 3 has the weird quirk of you can't jump out of your slide in the first 8 frames or so, but in this game you can jump out of your slide immediately as long as you're holding up.
You're seeing that immediate use
or releasing down
of the super arrow, just skipping that whole entire section with those turrets. So you're seeing the vitality and how useful that weapon is right away.
Yes, and then there's a conveniently placed refill so you can skip this chicken and lyric room here.
Something you'll see the runners do here is they'll be looking like they're walking off the super arrow. It moves so fast that you won't be able to walk off of it, but that actually saves arrow ammo by doing that.
Right, so the way arrow works in this game is for every few frames, I don't know the exact number, but while you're standing on it, the ammo gets depleted, and it's pretty quick. So in most cases, almost all cases, it's true that you can just hold forward once the arrow has got up to full speed, and you won't clip off of it. There are some very minor quirks that can change that. There's actually a cutscene at the beginning of the game that'll change Mega Man's fall speed. Some of the weapons can do that as well, and it'll speed up his falling just enough that you actually will fall off the front of the arrow there. So you may have seen them reset the game before starting this race. That's why they did that, to avoid that cutscene and reset that RAM value so that they don't fall off.
Didn't know that. So here, the bosses do kind of have longer I feel like in Mega Man 5. Not a whole lot of mashing in this game, which I appreciate. I'm not a big fan of mashing, but very carefully timed gravity. I don't know what you could call the weapon, gravity shot to quickly dispose of Gyro Man even while he's in the air.
You see,
he missed a shot, and that's what happened.
John
he missed the iframes.
Yeah, he did not respect Gyro Man's iframes. And slows down the fight considerably to have to switch to Buster there. And Gyro Man's kind of tricky to hit too.
What we didn't really talk about is the letters that the runners have been collecting here. There is a skip that you can do in Crystal Man stage that will death warp you right to the boss corridor. However, I believe both runners here, we know for sure, Scarf, it's a rough death. This is a really hard stage. It's one of the hardest.
He has arrow ammo left, so he should be
perfect.
Okay.
But they're collecting they're not doing the death warps here, it appears. They're collecting all the letters. By collecting all the letters, you will unlock Beat, which is going to be very useful for the Darkman stages, as well as the final boss himself.
Scarf is through on the second try. He didn't save an arrow for this crystal gel room, but looks like he's just going to opt to use Jet to get over.
Better safe.
The enemies here. It's a pretty scary room to play without the intended arrow strat, or the sort of the optimal arrow strat. Oh,
yeah, just too much damage taken.
I think those crystal shots do something like 8 damage, so you really can't take very many hits before you're in the danger zone.
We do have a lead change now. greatjhon is taking the lead.
We do. Go ahead and switch to his audio for now. I did want to mention, since you're talking about boss iframes, actually all enemies in this game have invincibility frames. So mashing is not valuable at all. I think you have to space your shots out by something like 8 frames to do damage on the next shot. So it ends up being more valuable to just use the charge buster or a weapon weakness in most cases, even to take care of just regular enemies.
This is interesting because in Mega Man 4, I know you want to avoid using the charge shot as it creates additional lag, but in this case, probably worth any additional lag just to avoid having to worry about the iframes of the regular enemies.
That's right, and that's even sort of furthered by the fact that the charge shot will pierce in this game if it does exact damage to kill an enemy. So if an enemy takes 3 buster shots or less of health, then the charge shot will kill the enemy and continue traveling. So you can use it to take out multiple enemies in one shot, and that's employed pretty often in the run to clear out enemies and reduce lag and just clear your path so you can move faster.
I feel like the charge buster in this game is pretty broken. Really powerful weapon.
It definitely is. It makes up for how much of a struggle it is to use most of the boss weapons.
You're saying Power Stone isn't useful?
No, it totally is for one situation. All right, so greatjhon maintaining a slight lead here into Napalm Man, maybe about a half stage or so. Oh, interesting. He's using Star Crash to avoid damage in the tunnel here.
Nice. Those instant death.
Spike drillers, yeah, they're instant death. So I think the more common backup strat is to use Crystal Eye, the weapon that they just received from Crystal Man, but Star Shot seems to kill them in one hit too. The faster strategy is to use 3 regular buster shots, lemons, but you have to space those out to not shoot into their iframes, and if you're not confident, then you'll probably end up taking a death there. So
it looks like greatjhon was hoping to get some weapon ammo for his weapon ammo for his arrow there. Ended up using Jet instead, which was viable. Got to skip that whole platforming section. So.
Yep, there's Scarf using Crystal there. greatjhon's using the very powerful gravity hold weapon to just clear entire screens of missile enemies and reduce quite a bit of lag in the process. Taking some damage from the missile. This section is sketchy. Jumping there is not necessary. You can slide, but he made it through. So both of these runners, I believe they picked up this game just for the tournament here. So they're new to this game, or relatively new at least. So they're not necessarily using, the most advanced strats everywhere, but I know they've both been putting in work, learning sort of some standard strats and then some sort of alternatives that work better for them to, keep them alive in more situations.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see, how new runners, adjust. You saw Scarf there having to, use jet instead of arrow when, after a death and running out of it. And just kind of the clever backups that they use that you might not get to see when you're watching, high level, world record or, 33 or 32 attempts.
32. There's only one of those.
Only one of those. And absolutely crushed it. By what?
Yes.
It was 4x, right? 32 4x?
Yeah, it was.
Skipped the 5x entirely. Crazy. But that's the beat less route. I think the only person going for beat less in the tournament is Baron. I don't know. Is he definitely going beat less? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I believe he's trying to not practice at all and just do what he's calling rusty attempts. So that means beatless probably, because that was the last route that he ran. Yeah, Baron is the number 1 seed here, so he has a decent chance to at least advance. I think the winner of this race will face him in their next match.
Oftentimes, even if your time is lower or higher rather, it's an honor to be able to face one of the top runners and just have fun learning the game. These tournaments really bring the community together, and it's generally a great thing for the Mega Man community at large. And hopefully everybody enjoys watching it and pick up learning Mega Man 5 specifically.
Yeah, and if anyone here is interested, please join the Classic Mega Man Discord. That's the best place to learn, ask questions. You'll get help from a variety of people there. There's also some tutorials available out there, or you can just stream it, and usually someone will show up from the sort of Mega Man 5 crew and help you out if you want it. So lots of ways to learn the game. There's some beginner-friendly strats you can do.
I believe Prizzy just did a tutorial as well for the 8 Robot Masters. This game's going to be featured in the Big 20 race, and I believe he did a tutorial for that.
That's correct. And Feral Pigman also has a sort of more advanced strategies tutorial. I don't know how the tutorials compare in terms of the strategies that they're trying to teach, but there's a couple tutorials out there for sure that'll get you started and explain a lot of the sort of nuances that we're trying to convey here.
Absolutely. So you'll notice there Scarf used Rush Jet there as sort of a platform to skip climbing ladders. That's going to be useful. Climbing ladders is generally slow in Mega Man. If you can avoid it by using super arrows or Rush Jet or Rush Coil, that's generally what you want, as long as you don't lose time by menuing to it.
Yeah, Rush will get you an extra jump, which is fast. Super Arrow, you can climb incredibly fast because you actually sort of get sucked up to it. If you're just a little bit below landing on it, you'll get sucked up and land on it. So you can climb incredibly fast with Super Arrow in this game. The issue is just that the ammo is quite limited. Every shot consumes 2 ammo, and you're usually using it for horizontal movement, which will consume a lot of your ammo. So you don't have a lot left over to climb ladders with it.
Especially when you're in the dark stages and wily stages where the weapon management or weapon ammo conservation really matters.
Yes, thankfully this game provides you with M tanks, which refill all of your health and all of your weapon ammo, and there's a few of them in the castle stages that can be employed. Looks like Scarf figured out a way to get an arrow on that first screen there with only a single arrow. That's a nice backup.
Nice.
Or maybe that's his intended strat. These little train mets are not vulnerable until they pop up and shoot. So you kind of have to time your shots correctly and then dodge the shot.
Scarf making his way through the beloved chicken room. Not sure if there's any dedications by either runners.
I haven't seen any, but I'm sure in their hearts they dedicated it to somebody here. Here you get to see Power Stone in action.
Oh yeah. One of the best weapons in classic Mega.
It would be okay if it weren't for enemy iframes.
True.
But you can't even really get more than one hit with it generally per shot, so it's a little bit tough to use.
Again, there we go. He got the last hit.
Yeah, so Chargeman he walks for a while, and then he can do one of two things. He can kind of get mad and shoot some coal, like flaming coal into the air, or he'll charge you again. You really just want him to shoot the flaming coal. It helps you set up the next hit, generally. And it just makes the fight a little bit easier. It's also easier to dodge the coal attack than that charge right there that you saw.
Ooh.
Scarf had 2 E-tanks, so he's able to use one here.
I do
Probably
think he made up a
wisely.
lot of ground. Just
Yes.
boss fight behind now. Even after the couple deaths there in Crystal.
I think that this will be the recipe for greatjhon winning these races, likely. That he'll need to avoid taking additional deaths and hope that Scarf makes some mistakes, because it looks like Scarf's gameplay is just a little bit faster in general.
Yeah,
Movement's a little bit better, strategies are a little faster, so kind of just comes down to who avoids deaths. They're pretty costly in this game. It takes quite a while to respawn. You're usually going to lose something like 15 seconds, if not more. And we see that that greatjhon is not going for some skips here. You can use the small bubbles to transition the screens early, but it's a pretty precise trick, and it costs quite a bit of time to fail it, depending on which screen you fail it on. You can even die if you fail it in certain ways. So, Scarf looked like he was going for it and then bailed. It's not a bad strategy in a race if you're not confident in these skips to just not even attempt them and just lose the, I don't know the exact timing. Is it maybe like 15 seconds you gain by doing both skips?
I think something like that, yeah.
Maybe Farrell in chat or someone can help me out there.
But especially if you're behind and your opponent didn't go for it, you know you have some time save elsewhere where you can catch up. You can quickly bail out and.
Yeah, there's still plenty of game left, and the hardest stages are the castle stages in general. So, just getting through the 8 robos without a death is definitely a valid strategy, and it looks like John is well on his way to doing that. I think Scarf took 2 deaths there in Crystal.
Nice. Yep.
I know he expressed some concern over that stage prior to the start of the race, so I think he was expecting that.
It's the last, I believe, of the beat letters.
That's correct, and that's the one you definitely don't want to miss. You're not going to go back and get that, most likely. I mean, you have to play the entire stage again if you want to do that. Or I think maybe you can take a death real quick and do the boat section over, start the boat section over, but you're probably going to lose about a minute by doing that. Ooh, Scarf looked like he was about to miss it, but he got it.
Yeah, a good big jump there into the center to make sure you got it.
Maybe that's just how he sets that up, but that looked pretty scary to me. Most people try to time their shots such that they kill both of those dolphins just before the letter, so it's a clear path and you can just easily jump, get the letter. So yeah, I wasn't watching super closely at their menu or their letter collection, but I think, well, it looks like Scarf already has beat. It's in his menu now. So when you collect all 8 letters, you get access to beat, the bird companion. And that is a useful weapon to use against the Dark 4, and Dark 2, and Wily 4 boss, Wily Capsule. And that's the main motivation for collecting the beat letters, going out of the way, taking the time to do that. So it'll speed those boss fights up, and in particular make the Wily Capsule fight much more consistent.
Yeah, you'll see.
You don't have to rely on low spawns to be able to do a lot of damage per cycle there.
You'll see in Wily 4 the capsules there. He can just spawn high outside of the reach of the buster in infinite amount of times. So having beat there, that really mitigates a lot of that RNG that you'd otherwise have to face.
Yeah, and there's ways around it if you don't run with beat. Typically only very top level runners will even attempt beatless, but some people just prefer that route as well. And there's some ways you can use gravity hold to display Wily Capsule's position, things like that. So you can actually complete the fight, and if you see a high spawn coming, use gyro attack to get some damage in every cycle. So it is doable, but the reality is that it's much more consistent and probably a race friendlier route to run the beat route here that these two are running. All right, so they're making their way through one of the harder stages here. There's a lot of damage sources, some pits and spikes here. Skipping these Yoku block runes with Rush Jet speeds those up quite a bit. Looks like greatjhon's going to collect some health here. It's probably a good call. This boss can get out of hand pretty quickly here.
Ooh, spawned rush too high.
Spawn rush too high. Thankfully, he recognized it and paused, and so he could reset there.
Yeah, didn't have to jump into the spikes. That's great. Yeah, Yoku blocks generally slow. You don't want to have to wait for those sections there. So.
Oh no! You can't. Yep. Oh, he didn't open the shot with the bus, or open the fight with the buster shot.
That would have done it.
So you see that Scarf did that. Water Wave does 3 damage per hit here. Bosses have 28 health, so 9 shots will do 27 damage. You can open the fight with 1 extra damage by shooting a Rush Jet Lemon. And then switch to Water Wave. That's a little bit faster. Ooh, greatjhon doing the dance.
Oh no.
Yeah, this boss is not easy to fight buster only at all. Tends to pressure you into a corner, and shots get hard to dodge. Starts to move faster around something like half health too.
But he gets it this time.
Yeah, I didn't see if he had some E-tanks available as a backup. Maybe he does, but doesn't want to spend them here.
He's doing all
you
right.
can see he's just it's really difficult to just get some space here. Looks like he's got it this attempt here.
Nice.
Good. All right.
Section over here, you see Scarf screen, really scary with those rotating platforms. Had to catch himself a couple times there.
Gonna switch back to Scarf's audio here. He regained the lead. It's about a half stage ahead. Only posting a scary jet clip in the chat there. I didn't notice that, but I'm guessing it was over the spikes on the top screen of Dark 1. So these up and down bounder guys, I think they're called bounders, and the tigers that are also coming up later in this stage, they start moving when you get close enough to them or when you press the B button down. If you're holding B, they won't get triggered, but if you press B, they'll get triggered. So you can use that to your advantage. Oh, and yeah, if you get hit there, you'll take an automatic death on the spikes. So you kind of have to manage your B presses if you don't want them to move early and kind of get out of rhythm.
Over here we see the first use of beat. This dark cube has these shields that otherwise you'd have to wait for. Beat can just make quick work of the boss there.
Yeah, and you can use Charge Buster and not lose very much time to that fight. If you kind of know the shield cycle, or you can use Napalm, I believe, and it will pierce the shield and be an okay fight. But the beat fight just ends up being a lot faster and easier.
Scarf opening up quite a bit of a lead here. I think he'd have to make a pretty severe mistake.
Well, don't speak too soon. This stage is called the Widowmaker for a reason.
True. Commentators.
That's sort of the colloquial, colloquial name for this stage. There's a couple of high wire acts with the arrows on the stage. It kind of, I'm not sure what strategies he's going to use. Probably going to take it a bit easy. Let's see. No, he's going. No, he's going for a slight backup here. Okay. So he opted to take some damage from that Met Cannon first, probably to make sure he gets enough height with his arrows there and saves enough ammo for this arrow. In the room that Scarf is in now, you can shoot a second arrow slightly higher than that one as a companion arrow to that lower arrow. You can slide under that platform you slid under and then jump onto the higher arrow and ride that all the way to the end of the room. But it's a very risky strat and pretty difficult to pull off, so I'm not too surprised to see that he just didn't even want to attempt it.
Yeah, in a race setting when you're ahead, no reason to.
Being conservative with his ammo there as well. Sliding under the stomper instead of arrowing over it. So always to conserve ammo. Opts to do the 2 arrow strat in this screen here. You can do a much riskier arrow with 1 arrow lower, but that strategy is very safe and nice and easy. Just wait for the arrow to despawn and the enemies will be gone by then. Here's a boss that commonly frustrates speedrunners. Dark 3 boss shoots these little donut things at you and will freeze you in place for several seconds until either the timer runs out or you get damaged. You can get him into a loop if you stand close enough to him and dodge the donut shots. Looks like Scarf just kind of tries to get damage in wherever he can. And if he gets frozen, it's okay, and he'll just take the E-tank.
Yeah, I was just saying, there's a lot of convenient E-tanks and M-tanks on the way in this run.
There definitely are.
Definitely makes it good for learning as a beginner runner.
It does. There are several that pop runners don't pick up that you can pick up as backups as a beginner. Alright, so now Scarf is on to Darkman 4 stage. It's a pretty short stage. You have to clear these blocks out and make sure you don't get crushed or hit by the spikes. Blocks are a little bit finicky. The frame that they explode, you actually can't perform an input. So it can sort of eat your shot when you're expecting to shoot or jump, you won't. So it's a little bit tricky to navigate, but if you take it slowly, it's not too bad.
Real Proto Man appears and gives your first and only instance of the L tank in the Mega Man franchise.
I didn't see. Did greatjhon die? I didn't see the E tank on his screen on that checkpoint room. So I'm assuming he must have, or he has full E tanks, which is less likely. No, there's the E tank right there. So he must have died on that screen.
Good thing the Mega Man 5 does have is known for dropping a lot of extra lives. So you haven't seen any game overs yet.
The extra life drop rate in this game is higher than I think any other, mainline classic Mega Man at the very least.
It's actually the same as Mega Man 4, but you kill a lot more enemies in Mega Man 5 in the run. So you see a lot more of the drops. But
I don't know how I never knew that.
Yeah.
I've run both games and learned something new today.
There you go. I forget who told me that. It was one of the... I think it may have been Prizzy or Looking Toad.
He died shortly after picking it up, the dude. Thank you for that. So I think both runners have taken, several deaths here. greatjhon's basically an entire Dark 4 stage behind now.
A little reminiscent of Mega Man 2's Wily 3 here with the spikes on each side.
Yes, the spike fall. I think this is the second game in the series to do the 2 castle psych out. You think, Proto Man's the villain in this game, but turns out it's a fake robot. It was Dr. Wily all along. Surprise!
Just in case 4 games in, didn't figure it out by now. Fortunately for Mega Man 6, they really did have another villain with Mr. X. Kappa.
Scarfwynaut looking like he's making good progress through Wily 1 here.
Yeah.
greatjhon's using beat. This is a pretty tricky fight. You definitely don't want to die here.
He's got that tanks though. All right.
That's a wise decision. You respawn all the way back at the bottom of the tower in this stage, so you lose quite a bit of time. If you're watching Scarf's screen, you might have seen him fire a charge buster into the blocks in this crusher section there. It does not pierce the blocks here like it does in Mega Man 4. It'll just explode one of them, and one of them only, so most people just opt to not even try to charge on that screen at all.
Now, there's a tricky jump you could do there, right? Chicken jump or something?
Yeah, it's a bit of a meme. You kind of have to jump sort of like straight up and then hold right at the right time, so it's harder than it looks. The chicken's hitbox is pretty big. But it's not really very consequential. Unless you're trying to conserve health, which is usually a good idea for this boss. This is Big Pets, the Daruma style boss. And the gimmick here is he's only vulnerable when those body segments are away, like shooting out or retracting back toward him. So the intended way to do the fight is to shoot both body segments out and then shoot him in the eyes.
There's
some
the other side of him, right?
So
to the right.
If you stand in right next to the bottom section and the top section is in position as well on his body, and you shoot the bottom section, you'll get zipped up on top of the top section. You'll be able to get sort of behind him and shoot him from up there and deal damage a lot more quickly. But you're constantly taking hits while you're up there, so you need to be careful if you do that and know how much health you have, and avoid touching his head when you're vulnerable, because that does 10 damage. Which might be the most damaging thing in the game, now that I think about it. So like some other Mega Man games, Mega Man 4 namely, when you're underwater, you cannot jump out of your slide animation. So you see Scarf walking there a lot more instead of sliding. That's why, because he doesn't want to take the risk of just sliding off the ledge on accident. You can turn around and cancel your slide, kind of like you did right there to jump out of the water. But there's a lot of lag in the underwater section, and the movement gets pretty specific, and it gets pretty scary. So you'll see a lot of runners just walking in the water more often than not. Same is also true for ladder tiles in this game, which is a little bit frustrating if you don't understand it. But if you're sliding on a ladder and you're touching a ladder, you won't be able to jump. Scarf going for the jet jump over the big stomper, and he gets under the other one. Nice. So I can see that Scarf has clearly put some work into this game. It probably just hasn't done enough runs.
Yeah,
to lower his PB.
Some of the best looks like it. You know, he has some potential for a big PB coming soon.
Yeah, that sort of tracks with the way his gameplay looks to me.
Yeah, nice kill there.
That was circling Q9. So sometimes in speed gaming and classic Mega Man, you'll hear a lot about RNG. This game doesn't have very much at all. I think it's the second lowest in the entire 1 through 11 series in terms of the percentage of gameplay that it's RNG. There's a little bit in that Q9 fight. There's a little bit in the Charge Man fight, Stone Man fight. And then there's a lot if you run beatless and you have to deal with Wily capsule spawns. But for the route they're doing, it's really not much of a factor. Oh, greatjhon, very close to dying on those spikes there.
So Scarf, we see, is on the refights. He's actually only going to be doing one refight. He's going to kill Napalm here. And you're going to see a nifty little trick with, hopefully, with the super arrow. Fortunately, just the way the rooms were made, if you skip through to the very next room, well, you'll see.
Oh my gosh!
Right at Wily Machine.
I have not seen that skip in years.
Oh, that version.
Where did he learn that?
That's the first time I've seen that as well.
Yeah, that setup is a lot harder than some of the other versions.
I know,
but great for him that he was able to. Great for them that he was able to get it. That's the original arrow setup from when the trick was discovered. So yeah, you do. This is a large skip that was found. I don't know, 2015 or somewhere in that range, maybe 2014. And it saves about 2 minutes on the nose over having to fight all the bosses. You do have to fight one boss so that you can make room for you to perform the skip. Otherwise, you just end up teleporting into the boss fight if you try to do the skip while the capsule's active.
Technically, maybe I'm wrong on this. Can you do the skip from the other two Robot Masters on the right side? It's just not it's slower? Or can you not?
You can do it from Charge Man for sure. I think you may be able to do it on the bottom right one, which it's been so long since I've run the game with refights that I can't even remember who that is anymore. Crystal Man, maybe? But the Napalm fight is pretty fast, and it's sort of scripted, so it's the same every time.
Yeah.
If you have the same setup. So we opt for the Napalm Man fight. Now Scarf is on to the very final boss here.
This is where you'll see probably the biggest benefit of getting beat. The beat can, you're hoping for 2 hits. Beat can also do 1 hit and track.
Yeah, each hit is kind of broken up into 2 segments, beat going towards Wily and then beat returning. So 2 full hits is beat goes out, hits and comes back, goes out, hits and comes back. Or comes back, goes out, comes back, goes out type of thing. You can end these cycles with beat tracking Dr. Wily when beat sort of tries to attack him and then Dr. Wily disappears in the meantime. And then that will show you the location of the next spawn. That's generally the preferred method to do it. So here you go, right here on
track.
Yeah, you're seeing that. There's a track. So, he's standing way too close.
GG.
GG.
42:30.
42:30, not too far from his PB.
Yeah, not bad at all.
I think
I mean, that's with two pretty costly deaths there in Crystal. So, I mean, right away you can see how much time he has to save, and the PB, he's going to get one real soon, a big one.
Definitely.
Here we have greatjhon trying his Crystal skip. Difficulty setting it up. He has to use an M tank to.
Yeah, greatjhon at the beginning of the stage grabbed the E tank and N tank as some backups here. It looks like he's going for what we call the Badap setup, named after speedrunner Badap, and that's the much easier way to do the skip with 2 arrows than what we saw Scarf do. Scarf kind of did a swag old school version of the skip there. You only need 1 arrow to skip it, but the second one basically guarantees that you get pushed into the wall when you slide to the left from the right wall, and then you have a lot of time to turn around to the right, which is how you end the skip and end up in the boss fight room.
No!
Oh.
Ooh. Oh, it looks like he might forfeit here. Yep.
Yeah, I think greatjhon's just gonna go ahead and forfeit, and
so we'll give these runners a little bit of time to set up for the second race. Hopefully let the runners regroup. greatjhon to give another attempt to take it to a game 3, hopefully, and face fair in the next round.
Yeah, hopefully we got most of the mechanical talk out of the way with that one. We can sort of maybe focus a little bit more on the runs this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just get excited when I get to talk about this game. There's so much going on. I can't help myself.
I'm going to take a quick break, 30 seconds real quick, and I'll be right back.
No problem. Be sure to check out the runners' Twitch streams if you haven't already, and give them a follow if you like what you see here. Again, if you're interested in speedrunning this game, there is a Classic Mega Man Discord. Maybe someone can link it here. If we're interested, and you'll be able to learn everything through the community in there. Looks like the runners are getting back from their breaks here. Bear with us as they set up another race room and get ready to appear for the second race. looks like both runners have readied up, and they'll be starting shortly for match 2 of maybe 3 matches if greatjhon can even up the matches here.
All right, I'm back. It's like both runners have moved on to the main screen here. What does the Japanese text under the Rockman 5 say? Out of curiosity.
Baruzu no something. Saigo? No. Yes? Who knows? It says blues something. Blues is a proto-man in Japanese.
Oh, right.
Is the blues deception? I can't remember what the subtitles of these games are. They're pretty wild. All right, good luck to our runners.
There's so much that can go wrong in Starman. You just get hit by everything.
This second screen, especially here, is just very difficult to get everything right in it and avoid damage. You typically do want to try to. Oh, no. That's a pretty classic. That's pretty classic, like nerves type of death right there. So,
well, checkpoints right there, so it wasn't the most costly death, and doesn't have to worry about grabbing the ladder again. So, oh wow, another one. Yeah, this Starman stage. It's a really rough way to start a speedrun. Although I guess it's good to get out of the way early if you're going for PB attempts.
Yes. Personally, I'm very thankful that this is the first stage in the run, because it's so awkward with the low gravity and the sort of different physics. There's even some weird quirks where your fall speed can be one of 2 different values, depending on when you jump, things like that. So
that makes it really hard to adjust on the fly if you're...
Yeah, so if you saw Scarf sort of shorted that jump, that may have been due to having the faster fall speed, and he wasn't expecting it, or sort of compensating for that. So it's really awkward, and it's pretty tough. It's one of the harder robot stages, so
I mean,
it isn't...
Despite the 2 deaths, they're
nice.
both on the Starman fight at the same time, so, I mean, Scarf, you can just see, he's really put a lot of work into the game, and, he's going to have a real good time soon. Not that they don't both have great times already, but, Scarf is, I think he's going to have a big PB soon.
Blues no Wana, that's right, Green Z Saber. Now I'm remembering seeing that name on a ROM file somewhere. And yeah, so some of the main differences between their styles of gameplay is just greatjhon stopping to kill a lot more enemies, Scarf skipping them or sort of sliding through them, and Scarf's just generally sliding more. And you move about twice as fast when you slide horizontally, so it adds up pretty quick. We didn't get any wrong stage selects on that first match, and I'm hoping for a repeat of that in this race here too.
Is Mega Man 5 a game where you can revisit a stage that you've already beaten? So accidentally getting into that. Oof.
And there's no way to escape it besides finishing the stage or game overing. You won't have to repeat the boss fight, but you will have to get to the boss room to complete the stage and move on.
Or more than likely, faster to game over at earliest possible point.
Unless you're getting lots of the meme Mega Man 5 references and have like 9 lives or something, you're usually better off just finding a pit or some spikes.
And
greatjhon.
So even if you have one super arrow ammo left, it doesn't matter. Once you spawn it, you can ride it all the way until the end of the screen there. So
yeah, and that's something that runners try to take advantage of whenever they can on every stage. greatjhon missed a letter there, but he managed to go back and get it, so that's pretty nice. That can be a little bit tricky. That section there is a little bit awkward.
again, just a real close race. Just a boss fight apart.
Yeah, and Scarf took some very short deaths, in the checkpoint room pretty early on in the room twice. So
yeah, both were right there.
He may have lost, I don't know, 20, 25 seconds total there.
For me, just playing casually, I've dabbled a little bit in trying to learn the E-robots a little bit in prep for the tournament. It just didn't work out. But I remember Gyro Man just being I feel like I missed the letter in that stage more than any other letter. Or died trying to get the letter. Just on those platforms that kind of fall from you.
Yeah, so that letter is a letter K in the Japanese version, and it's K for kill, because it will kill you. So both of them are opting not to try to save an extra ammo there before touching the before getting to the end of the screen. You can try to save an ammo by sort of falling out the front of the arrow, like you see Scarf doing now. But it actually causes a little bit of lag to hold directions in this game. So if you don't have to save ammo, it's usually better just to stay still on the arrow and just fly over with reduced lag. And there, Scarf has just through some better movement has caught up in this stage and is now ahead.
He's got the K, and greatjhon taking the death that I was talking about. That's it almost goes, they make it look easier than it is, and it's really not.
It's a tight window. Sometimes you land on one block instead of two, and only one falls, and that'll kind of psych you out and restrict your movement a little bit. It's very commonplace for runners to die, new and experienced runners.
Yeah, they do have to do the auto scroller again, unfortunately. Oh no, you don't. Do you?
No, that's the checkpoint room.
Okay.
At one point, Darkman told me the exact time lost from that death, but I don't remember anymore. It's only on the order of 12 seconds, somewhere around there. So
it's not that bad.
Yeah, so far their deaths have been in pretty opportune locations, where they don't lose some ammo that they need, or they don't have to redo a lot of screens.
All right, let's see how Crystal Man treats Scarf this time.
Yes, so last race took a couple deaths here, a couple different ways. So could be greatjhon's opportunity to get right back in this thing. And it looks like Scarf made it through just fine on the first screen he died on last time. Has enough ammo here.
Yep.
Set up the arrows correctly.
Then switches to jet.
Oh, that is sketchy, but
he made it
through. Yeah.
I think he wanted to try to back deboost off of that crystal and get pushed the other way.
Yeah, coming out of that pause he had there, you can just hold right, and as long as you don't slide, you can then sort of jet jump, and you won't get hit by that dropping crystal ever if you set up the movement that way. So you had to know that and practice it to sort of be able to do it confidently in a run. If you get hit by that crystal, a lot of times you'll end up dead in the pit below it.
Yeah, I find this to be one of the scarier stages too. Just a lot of death traps. Very similar to Jewel Man and Mega Man 9, where just a lot of gotcha moments, I feel like.
Maybe that's what Inti was going for with Mega Man 9, recreation of Crystal.
That's true.
Jewel this time.
No, they did they have the splash one with the bubble skip. It's just all a Mega Man 5 recreation. Except you can't slide, no charge shot.
Yeah, we have a question in chat from Green Z Saber. Can you skip this whole stage? You can. So it's a little bit complicated. I'm not going to explain the mechanics of it because I'm going to get it wrong. But practically what you do is you scroll one of those enemies at the first screen onto the stage such that only the head spawns, I think. And there's a way to set it up.
And the ball doesn't appear. And
it's not difficult to execute if you know the arrow setup. There's a 3 arrow setup. You just do standing arrows, so there's no height variability to it. You just shoot one to the right, shoot one to the left, shoot one to the right, and take your last damage to die at just the right time, and that'll give you a version of the skip. There's a different version where you can slide to set up the death warp that's faster, but it's much harder to execute. But that's the version you would see top level beatless runners go for, is the slide skip. But yeah, the main reason it's not done in this route is because you skip the letter that way. You won't be able to get beat. Oh, this is where Scarf got that extra E-tank last time. I was wondering. Okay. Lots of little goodies hidden all over this game, if you're willing to just sacrifice a bit of time to collect them.
I didn't know that there was an easier super arrow setup for the crystal skip. I took some time. Like I said, I was trying to learn this game as well, and I was dabbling in whether I wanted to do a beatless or not. So I learned the crystal skip with the slide method, and didn't get very consistent at it, but I don't know, maybe 7.
Yeah, that's not the recommended method to start with. Yeah, if you're doing maybe 8 robo runs like you would in the Big 20 race or something, you definitely want to learn the crystal skip because you don't need beat in that case, and you skip one of the hardest 8 robo stages and save some time in the process too. So it's kind of a no-brainer there, and the arrow setup makes it quite trivial. I'm confident I could teach anyone here to do it in under a minute or so. Like it's that easy. You just got to know what to do.
I was going about it wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The resources for this game are a bit scattered for sure. And if you're watching top level runs, you wouldn't see that arrow set up. So it's not surprising that you didn't find it just by sort of casually poking around. It's probably somewhere floating around in the classic Mega Man compendium, but I'm not sure where.
I wonder if I just searched for it on the Discord server. I'm sure I could have found it, but...
Or just ask. Got lots of knowledgeable Mega Man 5 people in there who are willing to help. Feral Pigman's in chat. He made the practice hack for this game and a tutorial, so he'll help you out. I'll help you out. Someone will help you out.
Sounds good. Yeah, this is one of the games I really wanted to learn. Not a lot of the mashing, not a lot of RNG. It's just a nice change of pace for me. And yeah, it's the one I grew up with. So
yeah, this is one of the more physically comfortable games to run, because you don't have to mash. You're kind of, you're just like flying over some screens on the arrow, stuff like that. So it's kind of nice, comfy speedrun. But if you really want to go sort of all out, you can get the sort of APM pretty high in this game and do a lot of little like micro slides and ledge jumps, things like that to get more inputs in there.
Those micro slides and ledge jumps really add up in most of the other Mega Man games. Yeah.
They do.
You don't think of it as much, but over the course of a 30-minute or so speed run, they do really add up. There's a lot of edges and little extra spaces you can slide. So definitely, it's an area that
that was terrifying.
if you're looking, I remember when I first started speedrunning, there was, you watch the other runners and you're like, how can I possibly go faster? I'm getting closer and closer to my sum of best. And it's really just these minor things that you might not notice. Jumping from a ledge at the most optimal point to barely get over it and still get that benefit of increasing your fall velocity and things like that. So it's that's what I'd look for if you're stuck in that position.
Yeah, and just to add to that, one of the great resources that the practice hack adds is a room timer. And we have sort of like a Mega Man 5 community room time sheet. So you could look at how your room compares to some of the top level runners out there. Feral, Pigman, Colonel Fatso, Baron Haynes has some times in there. So you could really see how each screen is stacking up to the top level runners. And that'll at least give you a clue as to what screens you need to work on. And then if you're struggling and you can't really analyze your own play and figure out what's going wrong, you can ask in the Discord and post a clip in there and someone will help you out.
Yeah. Scarf's on to Charge Man here and having a solid run since that, difficulty in Starman stage. He's been playing really well. Yeah,
I'd venture to say this is a PB pace run for Scarfwynaut. Sort of a sub 40 run if he can hold it together and avoid any additional deaths here.
And if that's the case, then I gotta believe that greatjhon's also on PB pace. He's
he's not far behind.
There. It'd be great to see.
Yeah, greatjhon's PB is like a mid 43, so I think if he avoids a death, he will definitely, absolutely destroy that personal best of his. Not trivial to get your first deathless run in this game, though.
Nope. The case in a lot of Mega Man games. They're just generally hard games, and if you're learning, expect to die early and often, and don't let it frustrate you. Just keep pushing forward, finish your runs.
Yeah, definitely finish runs. Don't just reset. Get that experience in. That full game run.
You want to get just as good at the late game, so finishing runs is really important. Even dead runs. I used to reset a lot, and one of the people I watched, Slurpy Ninja, great Mega Man 9 runner, and it doesn't matter. He has a couple deaths, he'll finish a run, and I feel like that's really good advice for newer speedrunners, or any speedrunner, get that experience in, get that practice in, especially in the late game. Because you're gonna play the first 2, 3, 4 stages of a game over and over again anyway if you're resetting a lot, but you want to get that late game experience in too. So
definitely agree. I'm just waiting for someone in chat here to post like a disgusted face or something like, oh, I love resetting.
There's certainly a balance. If you're dying in the first couple stages, then whatever. But if I'm 3 or 4 stages in, then just go for it.
Well, thank you, Mello.
Sorry.
All right, we'll see if either runner opts to go for some version of a bubble skip.
I've tried it the first time.
I think he's just messing around. I think he's just messing around, actually. I don't think he's going for anything there.
He's just playing the mental game on the commentators. I get it.
Oh, he's going for the backup.
He went for the second.
Yeah. The second screen skip coming off the first bubble saves quite a bit less time, but it's not easy. So, not surprised to see a miss there.
He was far enough ahead. So.
Yeah, I think he's still going to be fine. He's not going to go for a boat skip here. So there is a way to sort of do an extended slide, almost a full-length slide on 2 or more arrows on that screen, and then jump over the boat. But if you land on the ground past the boat, you will be soft locked. And the rules of this race setting are that you can password back to the beginning of the stage, but you'll end up losing several minutes if that happens.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see everyone but sort of the most confident or experienced runners just not even attempting to skip the boat.
It doesn't save that either, right? Yeah.
No, I think it's on the order of a few seconds, like less than 5 seconds. So it's definitely like an advanced strat. So this auto scroller is the same every time. There's a lot of different ways to approach it. You can kill a bunch of enemies. You can kill no enemies. You'll often want to kill some of them. Oh, Scarf strategy.
Yeah, that's so scary. It was the same exact as last time. That gave me the heart attack.
I guess that's just how he does it.
Hey, as long as it works.
But yeah, you generally want to kill some enemies on this auto scroller to reduce some lag. All right, let's see if Waveman's friendly here. Scarf was going in with full health, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Nice.
Charge kick will make you immune to anything you damage, but the water spout and the little harpoon thing that Waveman shoots can still damage you there, so you kind of have to navigate that stuff.
So, I mean, greatjhon, he's not too far behind.
3 seconds, Farrell. Thank you. Isn't that what I said? Could have just said correct.
You said a few. Few is generally
yeah.
considered 3. A couple is 2. Few is 3. This room right here really is an intimidating room to me.
It's an infamous room for sure. There's, you'll hear a lot of runners talk about, I can never stop practicing this screen. I just practiced the first screen of Dark 1 for 2 hours straight.
Makes sense. I can see why.
I'll try to be more specific next time, Mello. I'm sorry. I'm just trying not to say the wrong number because I'm not confident. I just do the tricks and pray that I save time. But yeah, that first screen that greatjhon's playing through is pretty intimidating. Ton of different ways to approach it. There's some hard tricks, tough movement. There's a 2-frame window jump you can do that's either make it or you die.
Scarf's opting to use the M-tank or E-tank there. He took some unintended damage twice on the
turret screen there, or on the walker guy. Yeah,
didn't have any issues with Rush Jet there. He spawned him too high the last race, but got through with no issue there.
Yeah, this is a common stage to die from damage. I mean, I think greatjhon ended up dying twice here last time to the boss fight, so wise to be careful here.
The wave weapon actually takes out the shot as well, huh?
It does. It's tough to even get enough distance to be able to do that.
Second E-tank, playing it safe. Can't blame him there.
Yeah, if he's screen watching, I don't think they're talking much in the race channel, but maybe he's checking out greatjhon's screen. He sees he has a lead and maybe notices this game is a little bit sharper, so he may just want to avoid death.
No, greatjhon again. He didn't. He switched right away to wave. He's not going to start the fight off with a buster shot.
I think I suspect that greatjhon didn't learn from a tutorial or even ask people for help. Well, he just
Although
did
he
the
had
fight.
a really clean fight. I mean, that was real clean. Wow.
So little nuances like that, like, oh, it's faster to shoot a single lemon to start the fight because the damage just works out a little bit better and it's faster. That's something you may not pick up if you're just trying to come up with your own strategies.
True.
But it looks like, yeah, the strategy as intended that he was trying to do last round, I'm sure. Oh, Scarf taking a death there. And just like that.
Oh, greatjhon's in the lead.
greatjhon's just hanging around, waiting for an opportunity, and now he's back in the lead.
And greatjhon, his splits are green. They're green now, obviously. It's the beginning of the stage.
Yeah, I'm positive he is on very large PB pace right now. It's just about getting through these very difficult castle stages with as few deaths as possible at this point.
And no sliding here, just take it safe.
It's kind of neat how both runners came up with a strategy to use Water Wave to cancel out that Dark One boss's fight or shots. So you just don't see that very often.
And the little nuances between them too, Scarf, taking it, a little bit more risky by using the Buster, where greatjhon, using the gravity hold to just get rid of the enemies there and safely pass through that really challenging section with the pits and the rotating
those little conveyor belt
belts things.
Yeah, that screen is pretty scary, so anything you can do to get through there with confidence, it's a good thing.
Yep.
You can see Scarf's movement has already got him all the way back up almost.
I mean, he slides everywhere you can. You still see, a good amount of walking from greatjhon, but yeah, Scarf, his movement is really good. I could see him getting. I mean, I think he has the potential to get, he can get a 35 at some point if he keeps it up, 34, 35,
Yeah, I think I agree. Definitely a 35. A 34 is a tall order for most new runners. That takes some dedication, but a lot of runners nab something like a 35 or a 36 for their, first dalliance with the game.
Yeah.
And we're almost synced now.
Now, what else does Scarf run? I've seen the name around. I can't put a finger on what else he runs, but I know I've seen him post pretty good times in other Mega Man Speed games.
I checked his Twitch page, and I've already forgotten what else he runs there. I can find out shortly, though.
He seems like he's definitely played sliding megas before and has the the general gist of it down.
I think, isn't he a Mega Man 11 runner?
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes.
Oh.
He has 6. That's unfortunate.
I wouldn't think that Mega Man 11 would translate to this game, but I guess
Hey, Mega Man 11 is a very complex game, so
yeah,
moving from that game to this game,
probably
it's kind of like child's play.
Good point.
All right, so I'm gonna still see some difference in the amount of aggression in the strats from this stage. greatjhon just using Rush Jet, pretty laggy, but very safe. Looks like Scarf is just going to forego using any arrow on this screen on this second time through here, which is probably the right decision. So he can save enough for the checkpoint room up above.
Yeah, switching now.
You can see there how fast he sort of climbed that ladder with some extra ammo there.
So once again, he's going to be making up ground and.
Yeah, even walking across those platforms instead of rush jetting will save you a lot of time because rush is an extra sprite and will lag the game more. greatjhon seems
having
to
a
have
great
had,
fight here.
yeah.
He's had a couple really good dark fights. He didn't get frozen a single time, right?
Yeah, and I think that was true last run as well. So he's kind of figured out a strategy there. That's not usually how runners try to bait the shots. They try to bait them upwards and go under. Because the boss won't fire again until all of the donuts are off screen. So if you get him to shoot upward diagonally, it takes longer for them to leave the screen. So you have more time to just sit there and wail on them. But John was able to find a rhythm with that other shot direction there. So it's a nice strat. Got through the tower okay.
Scarf, he did get frozen a couple times, but again, not too far behind.
Yeah, the most optimal fight there. You can get 4 gyro hits in between like donut shots if you bait the shots upward like that.
Some of these jumps, they look trivial, but with the spikes right above, it can be a little scary.
Yeah, you definitely want to break the blocks in a specific way to give yourself enough room to squeeze through there or not even be flirting with hitting the spikes.
Right.
greatjhon had a pretty clean fight there. So controlling beat, not something we talked about in the first race. It's hard. I'll just put it that way. Beat kind of has to land near Mega Man's shoulder before he can deploy again for another hit. And if you're moving around or sliding, it'll take Beat longer to sort of get into that ready position to launch. So you can kind of see sometimes Beat's trying to get back to Mega Man, but Scarf is moving around a little bit. So kind of losing some time between hits there. Beat hits there. It just takes a lot of practice to be able to control him the way you want it to. A lot of people end up calling him Stupid Bird for that reason. But he's smart. You just got to work with him.
This right here being the text scene that saves a little bit of time between Mega Man 5 and Rockman 5.
Yeah, it's the entire reason to run the Japanese version of the game for a faster time. So I think it's 18 seconds, something like that, difference just in that cutscene alone.
Oh, definitely greatjhon there. But you kind of see the movement differences when he'll come to a stop to kill the enemies and whatnot. Meanwhile, you'll see Scarf. He slides. He really doesn't stop that much. He'd rather take damage than stop and kill an enemy. So he's that death there. greatjhon is still ahead, but the lead has really diminished.
Yeah, in that room, those jumps are really tricky. There's not a lot of room for you to get up onto those conveyors without hitting your head on the spikes, which is why a lot of runners opt to use Super Arrow to get through this room. You have to do a little half jump up there, so you can see greatjhon took those jumps a lot sort of shorter that time and was a lot safer.
Meanwhile, Scarf uses the arrow there and just doesn't have to worry about that at all. Excellent.
Yeah, I'm not sure why greatjhon is saving the M tank for after that room. Maybe he just wasn't confident in figuring out an arrow to squeeze through there like Scarf did. But he just consumed all of his super arrow ammo again, so he wasn't really doing much with that extra ammo there.
On a Crusher death.
Right, so this Crusher is quite a bit more difficult than like the Mega Man 4 Crusher you might have seen in Dustman stage. It's a lot faster, and it's less forgiving. Like you can still die while sliding, stuff like that. So there are some zips you can do there, but they're extremely advanced and scary. I don't think you're going to see someone doing it in a run besides maybe Baron to save a bad cycle or something like that. Oh, get out of there.
Now, when you see a large health drop like that, is there ever the temptation to switch back to Super Arrow and just refill?
A large ammo drop like that?
Yeah.
Generally, the way that the M tanks are routed, it's not going to save you any time because you're just going to end up refilling it before you need it again. There are some situations in... so there are some arrows you can do in Wily 2 in the underwater section that I guess you could do. But most often where people are hunting for drops are Gyro Man stage and Charge Man stage. You can kind of collect them in a convenient place such that you skip some of the longer screens. So like the very last over the top of the train screen in Charge Man, you can just arrow over that whole thing with the drop. In the Wily stages, generally you're just looking to just move on and just use the M tank as routed. All right, so Scarf collecting both of those for safety.
Oh.
So that's just a little physics hiccup. I mean, you jump so fast and high underwater.
Once again,
typically
we have a race now. I mean, they're both at the beginning here at Wily 3.
Yeah, these deaths are really keeping this race close.
Yet, no game overs, and I think we've seen, 3 or 4 deaths from each runner here. That is Mega Man 5. You'll have plenty of lives.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if runners are feeling nerves in this underwater screen. It's sort of a common location to lose some feeling in your hands a little bit and your movement to get wonky. You can jump over those spikes cleanly without hitting that bat, but it's very tight. That's the Dark Man jump.
E-tank. M tank.
Yeah, this is the planned M tank location here. It's the first time you menu in the stage, so it's the shortest possible M tank refill essentially.
Makes sense.
And you want to refill your super arrow so that you can do the skip in Wily 3 and double hits on press if you're going for those. We're not going to see either runner going for that, but
at the same time, spend less time in the menu by refilling at the earliest time possible because you don't need to necessarily refill gyro or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
But yeah, they do on arrow for Wily Machine as well. It's the Wily Machine's weakness, does 4 damage, so it's really strong.
Wait, 4.
All right. greatjhon struggling with Q9 here. Hopefully, there he goes. That's the last hit.
Again, if you're screen watching right now, does greatjhon maybe not go for the E-tank and the M-tank there? just to try to
I don't know.
get any second you can? Or do you try to finish a run, you know, like strategy wise, you know, it's not going to be a PB at this point anymore. Maybe it could be. 43? No.
It still could be with some really fast stages. So yeah, he did just skip him. He already has his M tank still.
So yeah, he can...
I'm not sure why he grabbed it last run. Oh, there's Scarf goes with that old school skip again. You kind of see him miss the slide timing there. You had to slide at the right time into the top arrow to get pushed into the wall.
But this is a tight race. I mean, you see greatjhon, he's using the M tank now, which is great, but he didn't grab the M tanks at the beginning, right? M tank and E tank, so he skipped the menu. And if he can get this set up a little bit quicker.
Yeah, unfortunately he's shooting that top arrow from too high. That's good right here. Yep, he just taking a little bit too long to get the skip.
There we go.
There he goes. Actually, he might have been okay with those other arrows. There's a few pixels that work. I think you were asking about the other capsules in the last run. The main reason you do it on Napalm's the middle capsule is because you have the ladder there to set up the height properly.
Easier
set up the arrow heights, so it makes it a lot easier to get the correct arrow pixels.
Makes sense.
All right, Scarf heading into last stage here. Oh, getting some lucky health there. Kind of nice to have.
Yeah, I mean the machine takes a lot of damage. So
yeah, the machine can do a few different things: shoot missiles, shoot some balls at a couple different speed, or perform like a suction attack. And the suction attack is really difficult to work with, and you can end up taking a lot of damage from that. I mean, Scarf's getting hit by just about everything here.
Yeah, definitely E-tank there.
He has 5 E-tanks, so he's gonna cruise on home, it looks like.
It seems like a really safe I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong, but a very safe racing speed game or a marathon speed game. You can totally, prepare yourself for the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Tanks and the E-tanks. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, from a beginner level even down to, higher level runners can do some things here or there to make it much more marathon safe. Much closer race than last time, but Scarf is already considerably far into the capsule here.
That should do it.
Yep, he should get the last 2 hits right here.
And 2, GG Scarf.
GG.
But really tight race. I mean, both being on capsule at the same time. I mean, greatjhon had a really nice run.
Yeah, in fact, he's almost on PB pace. I think he might just miss it even with a perfect capsule fight.
Yeah, he was barely in the
run.
red after the last split. So although it could be a matter of E-tanking. If he doesn't have to E-tank this fight, maybe he still PBs.
Each cycle takes about 6 seconds, so I think it's out of reach. I think his PB is just about to pass. It's in the 43 2x range, I think.
Goodness, you got the track.
There you go.
Just missed it. Yeah.
Just turned red. Couple cycles behind here.
Really close. But great run by greatjhon as well. To be that close to your PB in a race scenario is unbelievable. GG. So there's a lot more Mega Man 5 races left in this tournament. This thing's just started heating up. If you enjoyed what you saw, the tournament may still be going on, but feel free to join the Discord and maybe you can help out with commentary. Maybe you want to ask for some advice learning the game. Join the Classic Mega Man Discord server. It's a great game to learn. It's one of my it is my childhood favorite Mega Man game, and there's the community is great. They're all here to help you, and it's a fun thing to be a part of. So definitely encourage you guys to learn the game and join. And
yeah, thanks so much for co-commentating with me. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to get the runners in here for commentary. It seems like they're both pretty worn out here. And,
understandably,
they just want to calm down a little bit and move on. So
totally understand.
I think that's probably going to do it for us then.
All right. Well, thank you for commentating with me. It was a pleasure, and have a good night, everybody, and hope to enjoy some more Mega Man 5 in the coming days and weeks.
Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.